Rebating, smooth and uplifting. Yeah, man, Stamford Bridge feeling irie tonight. Ooh. Big up to the Blues, we got a new striker in sight. From Ipswich town to the Chelsea ground, Liam Delap's the name, goals abound. He came from the tractor boys, now he's wearing blue. Scored 12 last season, now he's coming through. Physical and fast, a real number 9. With Cole Palmer behind, it's gonna be fine. Delap, welcome to the crew. Making moves at the bridge, showing what you do. From Manchester roots to Chelsea's embrace. Time to shine, young lion, set the pace. Enzo Maresca knows your game. Work together before, now it's not the same. Champions League nights await your fire. With the Blues faithful, you'll inspire. They say club or country, a choice to make. But with Chelsea's call, it's no mistake. Club World Cup dreams in the USA. With Delap leading, we'll find our way. Delap, wearing royal blue. Scoring goals, breaking through. From Ipswich days to Stamford's light. You're the future, our shining knight. So here's to Delap, our new number 9. In Chelsea's colors, you're gonna shine. Reggae vibes and football dreams. Together we'll achieve great things. Rebating, smooth and uplifting. Yeah, man, Stamford Bridge feeling irie tonight. Ooh. Big up to the Blues, we got a new striker in sight. From Ipswich town to the Chelsea ground, Liam Delap's the name, goals abound. He came from the tractor boys, now he's wearing blue. Scored 12 last season, now he's coming through. Physical and fast, a real number 9. With Cole Palmer behind, it's gonna be fine. Delap, welcome to the crew. Making moves at the bridge, showing what you do. From Manchester roots our new number 9. In Chelsea's colors, you're gonna shine. Reggae vibes and football dreams, together we'll achieve great things.
What's up, everyone? I hope you guys can hear me. Oh, that's the wrong layout. Anyways, big up to you, each and every one of you 9 people watching. Let's get the likes up. This stream will not be a very long one. That is not my plan. This was an emergency stream. I had this broadcast scheduled from Monday, but it didn't come to fruition. So I said, you know what, let me private it, wait until the announcement is officially made by Chelsea Football Club. And, you know, of all the times that they decided to do that announcement, they decided to do it at this time, at a time when I said, okay, I'm not going to be making any streams. I'm not going to have any streams. I'm not going to make any video. They end up announcing him, and in a very interesting way as well. But big up to each and every one of you who's locked in right now. I really appreciate the support. And as much as this was a last minute thing, I'm grateful that individuals have made themselves available. And one such person is a fellow brother of mine, and his handle name right now is the Summer Signing. So big up to you, and thank you for joining me for this emergency stream and this last minute stream, I have to admit. How are you doing? And thanks once more for joining. Okay.
Yes, big up, big up. Big up, Tyrone. Big up, Chelsea fans. Big up. What a win. What a win. Liam Delap, the missing link, is here. It's here in the house. Chelsea owners, Chelsea board, the sporting directors have showed they care. End of story. No more excuses. No more criticism. Yes, of course, Victor Osimhen is someone I wanted. Victor Osimhen is what the Chelsea fans wanted. But come on, they are following a plan, a professional penned plan, which is sustainable, which is planned. They are following it. They cannot pay a certain player above a certain threshold. Cole Palmers of this world, Enzo Fernandez of this world, Caicedo of this world will have an issue. So please accept that. Liam Delap, amazing. We'll talk on that. 22 years old is one of the best. I mean, it has the highest potential ceiling at his age in England right now. It's linked to and is considered to be the future English star. You know, is amazing. We'll talk on the strengths, the weaknesses, how he can fit in Enzo Maresca's system. So everyone, including me, will definitely were very, very anxious, were frustrated, lack of signing a striker, which should be the first priority. We signed Enzo Fernandez, we signed Caicedo, we signed Lavia, we signed the defenders, we signed everyone else, but not a striker. Of course, we had Nico Jackson, who is amazing, off the ball, tracking back, link up play, but of course we know he is not really a striker. He played as a left wing, you know, at Villarreal, and we have suffered both in 23-24 and 24-25 season because of that. But now we have a professional, young, upcoming, and already we'll discuss on that. So no more excuses. All the XGs are there. The goal should be converted, and Chelsea should be challenging for the Premier League title next season.
Wow, wow, wow. You said a lot. You came with a massive bang as well. You sounded very enthusiastic and you went in strong. And you said a lot of volume. You said a lot of things with volume. And I appreciate that. 16 people watching. I really appreciate the support for this stream. It was a last minute one, but it's good that there's some people that actually saw it, the stream, and decided to click on it. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. So let me not divorce myself from the chat. Let me see what's in the chat so far. And then I will, of course, be sharing the official announcement that Chelsea made on the website. Also, I would have used otherwise, but I think my X is down and probably X is down. I don't know what's going on, but let me just check what the chat is saying, and then we'll come back to discussing the lap even further. So, big up to, okay, I'm generally a bad person with names. Chizoba David. Apologies if I butchered your first name. I really apologize for that. But it's Chizoba David. Big up to you, says, welcome home, brothers. That is for Liam Delap. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you stopping by and showing support to this stream and to also give your thoughts. One of the newest Chelsea Sessions members, Huddersfield Town Fan TV, is here. He says hello. So big up to you. And then, of course, he's using a badge. You guys won't be able to see that on my end due to StreamYard. But and then Poggy's on a roll. I don't know what Poggy's doing, but almost every stream now, or almost any video or content that goes out, there's a donation, and this is another membership. I'm not on YouTube, so I'm not sure who got the membership this time. But congratulations to whoever got that membership, and thank you, Poggy, for donating to the channel once more. It'll go a long way, and I'm sure that whoever got that membership, should they get notified and should they, decide to act on this membership, they will be pleased with the content that is already out there for members only. So if you want to become a member, you can always become a member. It's $2.99 or $2.99 US, of course. I'm not sure of the conversion for pounds, but if you click on the little dollar sign that you see there, you can of course become a member. It's not an obligation, but if you believe that you want to support the channel, if you want to become an exclusive member that will receive certain content that is not going to be will not be released to the public, whether first or overall, you can become a member. There's already videos there to welcome you and to also give you an understanding of what the channel wants to do going forward with that aspect. So thank you, Poggy, for this gifted donation, or gifted membership donation, I should say. And whoever got it, I hope you will enjoy the opportunity that you've gotten for 30 days or something like that. So thank you once more, Poggy. And Andrew Phillips says, I think Enzo should prioritize the back line. I feel it's the weak, especially the right side. Well, we will discuss this, and I'm gonna start this and come back to this. But let me just quickly share the official announcement that Chelsea made on the website. So bear with me, guys. But thank you, guys. Do drop a like on the stream. I'm not monitoring YouTube right now, so as a result, I'm not really sure what the likes are. But if you haven't already hit that button, so as you can see here, I hope it's being shared. Is it being shared? Yes, it is. So all right. So 50 people watching. Ensure that you drop a like once more. So as you can see, Liam Delap completes Chelsea transfer. This was 41 minutes ago, and it says, Chelsea is delighted to announce the transfer of Liam Delap from Ipswich Town, with the striker signing a contract until 2031. So that it's a 6-year long contract, or a 6-year long deal for Liam Delap. So it will keep him at the club until 2031, should everything work out with him going forward. So it continues by saying, an England under-21 international, Delap struck 12 times in the Premier League during the 2024-25 campaign and was shortlisted for the Young Player of the Year award. He said, I understand the stature of this club and I can see the trajectory it is on with these players and the head coach. It's going to be an incredible place for me to develop, and I hope to achieve amazing things here and help the club win more trophies. Now, he continues to say that Delap started his career in Derby County's academy before joining Manchester City in 2019. After a season with the club's under-18s, he stepped up to the elite development squad, or the EDS, as it's commonly called as well, where he played under current Blues head coach Enzo Maresca. And we've heard that Enzo Maresca played a crucial part in this deal happening, that he signed off on it. He wanted him and he admired the player in Delap. So, of course, he said, let's get Liam Delap. And so said, so done, that they've given him the player that he reportedly asked for. Now, it also continues to say that the striker enjoyed a standout campaign. He netted 24 goals in 20 Premier League 2 matches, scored on his debut for City's senior side in the League Cup, and was handed his first top-flight appearance against Leicester City. Further first-team appearances followed during the 2021-22 season before he embarked on some loan spells at Stoke City and Preston North End. Now, Delap spent the 2023-24 season with Hull City, and after scoring 8 goals, secured a move to newly promoted Ipswich Town. So you can see the quick change of clubs that took place there as well. So, and as you can see here, it says Liam is a blue. Welcome to Chelsea, Liam Delap. That's what you can see there, and it's the Matthew Harding and that you can see right there. So, the 22-year-old produced on the Premier League stage with 12 goals struck for the boys in 37 appearances. So, Delap has also represented England through the youth age groups, with his last caps coming from the under 21s in March. Welcome to Chelsea, Liam. And it says, welcome, Liam. And then, of course, you're saying to leave a message for Delap. I don't think you'll see my message, so I'll just leave that there. But what do you have to say about this monumentous signing and moment?
Yes. What's left to be said? Of course, let's dive deep in analyzing the potential next big striker at Chelsea, Didier Drogba. Of course, So we know that we have been waiting for a proper number 9. So I'm giving the reference of the legend, the best ever, Drogba, Costa. So you see where I'm going. Now it's still up. No question asked. It's obvious. It's obvious. People who understand football don't take time. It's great. He's great. I'm not saying he's awesome, right? I'm being realistic here. I'm not saying that he is prime Lewandowski yet, but he'll be there. He'll be there. And in my opinion, again, I don't think so Chelsea will go for another striker. First of all, it's everyone has the right opinion to express themselves, right? But I think it's unnecessary. It's too critical from Chelsea fans that are saying, okay, it's still up. It's a B signing. What about Victor Osimhen? What about who I love to death with Victor Osimhen, love to death. What about Isaac, among others, right? No, Delap he's our first number. He's our number 9. He will be our number 9, right? It's obvious. He's not here to be loaned. He's not here to sit on the bench. He will be integrated. I'm not saying he'll probably play all the games. I don't know what will happen with Nico Jackson, but Nicholas Jackson for sure, again, in my opinion, could be utilized on the left as a left winger, where he performs, which is his optimal position, and he performs amazing over there. Nicholas Jackson, if he stays here, which he should, it's a key ingredient in my opinion. Of course, his goal scoring is like not good enough, right? But his link-up play, tracking back, closing spaces, making all the key runs, he can be utilized. I think both Nico and Delap. So I think that will be amazing. And let's talk about Delap, right? So people, I don't know, like either they are like, a lot of fans are not happy, I see, which is crazy. Like, look, I am, as I said, for Osimhen to go for the best. But look, again, we have to be realistic in this way. Again, opinions would come if we have a choice. As I always analyze that the sporting directors and the owners have a very professional, planned, recruitment strategy, which is more like, if we talk about software engineering, is more of a waterfall cycle than agile. It's which means that it's not there there's not a lot of you can say versatility or flexibility in the plan. It's very much defined, and the whole issue is, look, I never had any issue. My issue is a little bit with the manager, but I never had any issue with the sporting structure of Chelsea Football Club. Never. Show me in any stream if I ever had. Look, I think it's great. It is great. It does have some limitation because we cannot go for already, you can say, the elite players because of some salary caps. They may change something if they can, right? The whole problem is that, or I won't say problem, the limitation would be that if we entertain a Victor Osimhen. It's not that they don't want to pay him. It's not that they cannot afford him. It's just that the whole structure, which is very much professionally penned, which, it's not just the wages that they are paying and the fee that they pay to the club. It's number of years. And then again, if they pay an Osimhen or an XYZ above the threshold, I'm repeating again so people can understand, the Cole Palmers of the world will expect that, the Enzo Fernandez of this world, the Caicedos of this world, right? So it's impossible, right? It's impossible. That can be done, which I read and researched. I have to look again. Like as we increment, like as we have qualified for the Champions League, if we win the Premier League, right? So it's what I heard from Osimhen. Sorry, Osimhen, I'm saying Ornstein. Sorry, I got excited. Osimhen is in my head. David Ornstein in one of the podcasts, that some of what they have done is, if the players, let's say, are not at the wages that the Real Madrid players are, or some Manchester United players or Liverpool players are, right? 300k, etc., 250k, but they do have basically an increment related to the achievement. If you can win a Premier League, if you can win a Champions League, if you can score these number of goals, for different players, if you can achieve this. So it's more of an incentive-based, achievement-based that can be covered. So both the club and the players can grow together. So having said that, let's come to Delap. So the reason it was important to say that people are expecting that we should do this or do that, they have a defined plan. It may not be the best plan. For now, it's probably one of the best plans moving forward, in my opinion. I have no doubt about it. If you see the Chelsea squad, it's getting stronger and stronger by the day. And the players we have, you see, they are getting integrated, they are improving, right? As much as I think Enzo Maresca should have done better, but definitely the players are good. We have very good players. It's just some key signs we're missing, right? So let's talk on Delap after, this talking a little bit about the recruitment structure and backing the owners and supporting directors to really follow it professionally and show that they mean business. They are here for a reason, and they mean business, and they are going with this process and this philosophy of investing on the youth, and sure, it can work. It is working, and we finished fourth, which I think is okay. It's a bare minimum. We have to improve on that. So let's talk about Delap, right? So you have already read from the official website a lot of details, right? On Delap, 22 years old, of course, came from Ipswich Town, 30 million. So it all looks great. So some of the things that I would like to mention, and of course, then you can reflect and give your take. Of course, it's very important to remember that he has worked under Enzo Maresca at Manchester City's academy. So this is a very important point, right? Secondly, hello? Yeah, sorry, I got cut for a second, I guess. Yeah, secondly, like if we see the physical presence, he's still developing, right? And it's not that too young. I disagree. 22 is not like 16 or 17, 18. At professional football, you're at your prime from 22 to 28, in my opinion. So he's already in his prime years now. The next 5 to 7 years are his prime, right? He can only improve from here. So he's physical. He's 6'1", right? He's good in the air. He's right-footed. Okay, some people will look at that he scored 12 goals in 37 Premier League games from Ipswich Town. Look, come on, you have to understand that he scored 12 goals, which is decent, first of all, in a team which got relegated. So you have to understand that the chances that he got were very minimal, right? So he still did well. He still did well based on that. And he's praised, of course, for his hard work. He's good on the ball. We'll talk on the weaknesses or some of the areas that he needs to improve. So under Enzo Maresca, right? So the good thing about him is really good at tracking back and in ball possession approach. He is really good at that. His physical goal scoring ability and work ethic, is very much appreciated by McKenna at Ipswich Town. And I think it's a good fit that he can really improve over here. And again, like he is a classic number 9, and we need that in our team. In Enzo Maresca's system, we need a classic number 9. And as I said, he's really good at tracking back and playing a possession based approach. But having said that, to be not critical, but of course we know he's not yet a complete product, a final product. Yes, he's decent on the ball, but like he's not elite in close control or dribbling. In my research, he's not really elite. He is inconsistent in dribbling and close control. So that is the area that needs to be improved. But I don't think so it's a concern at all. I'm sure that will be worked upon by Enzo Maresca and the staff, and I think that this can be improved. I have no doubts. Other areas to improve are some. If you see what status, looking at the stats and the eye test, it's the first touch in tight spaces. You know, and I'm not going to like give a reference to Nicholas Jackson because that was awful. Especially in the final third. So it's not that bad what I'm saying, but his first touch and tight space control is I'm not saying off because it's fine margins. It's not really, you can say, consistent. It's not really up there yet. It's good, but it at times, especially we saw at Ipswich Town, that a lot of times his first touch left a lot to be desired. Anyways, these are some of the limitations. It's not any criticism. It's like these are the areas to improve. And consistency in finishing, you can say that it could be a lot of pressure, high stake, because you get only few chances naturally playing for Ipswich Town, so it's not a very high conversion rate. Having said that, we need to factor in that he played for Ipswich Town, with all due respect, right? So it's a great player. At this price, at this age, I don't think so we could have got any better player. So I think the strengths, the promise, and the scope is really much higher than some of the limitation and weaknesses that I mentioned, Tyrone.
Well, you said so much. I don't know. I don't know if you left anything for me to say, but I will just go to the chat and I'll just see what I can say. That I can probably. And I don't want to piggyback off what you said, but you said so much. So I have to somewhat repeat a bit of what you said. But what you said has a lot of volume. So let me just quickly see what's in the chat, and then I'll just come back to give my thoughts. So, big up to Coach. Chose perspective. He says, I have never been lucky enough to receive a gift. Well, I'm not going to say anything. He says the stage is his. Yeah, for Delap it is. And then, damn, that kid was designed for Delap. I'm not. Oh, that kit. Okay, that kit. When I saw it initially, I was saying kid, but now I realized you meant kit. Fair enough. He says it wouldn't make sense to buy another striker. That's what Coach says. I mean, I think I'm divided on that, and I'll explain why. Let me start this as well. I'll have to come back to this, but yeah, I'll have to explain why I'm divided about that. And then this is also, which is something aligned to what you said as well, Jerry, about it's essential to consider the volume of chances created for Delap at Ipswich. Yeah. And I think I'm trying to remember if it was on Choice Perspective or it was on a different show. I don't remember. I think it was on Choice Perspective where you looked at the was it? I don't remember. I'm gonna digress from that. But yeah, the chances created for him is very important to consider. And I brought up the stats so I can actually look at what's out there. On an individual level, I perhaps should have used FootMob in terms of Ipswich Town to see how many chances were created. But I do remember that he created. I think the most chances created was 61. I'll have to go back to FootMob. I remember seeing it on a show. I don't remember which show it was exactly, but I do. Yeah, I think I get the point that Coach is making about the chances, that the volume of chances created for the lap needs to be considered because the numbers are different. It's not. I think there's a massive drop off from whoever's at the top in chance creation, there's a massive drop off because I think the second player is Omari Hutchinson. You know what? Let me just quickly see if I can find it because I don't want to be sharing inaccurate information, but I do believe, if my mind serves me right, that the chances created for Ipswich Town, I think the highest was 61, and then there's a massive drop off, and I think Liam Delap had one less or something like that than what we saw from Cole Palmer or I don't remember who it was exactly. I generally don't want to be sharing the wrong information. But let me see. Okay, I think somebody else just joined the studio. I'm going to try to see if I can add them on right now. Okay, SK's here. Big up to you, SK. Thank you for joining. I'm looking for some statistics so you can speak in the meantime. And when I find it, and if you're finished, I will go back to sharing. So welcome to the channel once more. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for the invite. How's my audio? Is my audio good?
Sorry?
No, I just want to make sure my audio is fine.
Yeah. I'm hearing you.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I know you guys are talking about Delap. I'm not really sure what you guys have said so far because I just saw like the link. I mean, I think he's a good player. Like, I guess my concern for him right now is like I consider him to be more of like a batter and ram type of striker. Like, given like his athleticism, his physical profile. I guess my concern, is just more so. I wonder if a lot more of his, I wonder how much of that's going to translate to, you know, a higher echelon type of team, right? Because like you kind of requires a little bit more of like your technical attributes that when you're playing for like an Ipswich isn't really as necessary. I'm not gonna pretend like I've watched him enough to give like a definitive answer to that question. But I think that's going to be the key for whether he works as a transfer or not, is kind of just how well, you know, those skills are able to translate. However, I think for specific, especially like how young he is and for the amount of money that they got him for, I definitely think in a vacuum, the transfer itself is fine. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it right now.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm still trying to find that statistics. If anything, I'll just forget about it. But I just wanted to, you know, to solidify what coach was saying about, you know, the volume of chances, and to do a little comparison. But it won't be able to happen, unfortunately. As I said, this was an emergency, so I didn't really get to prepare as I usually like to. But nevertheless, there's still a lot that can be said, and yeah, I want to just give my little thoughts. I did have in mind to share the video that I had it so that we could have a little understanding of the player. But I said, you know what, that's gonna probably be counterintuitive. And if anything, anybody that wants to see the player profile, player analysis of Liam Delap that I did a couple of days ago, you can always go on the channel and you'll see it. It's very short. I like to make those videos shorter because there's only so much you can say about a player, and unless you do what I see other people do, where you make a 15-minute long video and then you're just repeating yourself. I think concise and detailed is good enough, and I think that video has enough detail. You get to understand his physicality. You can get to know the areas that he needs to improve upon, which Jerry would have mentioned earlier. Before you came on, SK, and before I started speaking again. So it's very important to consider where his strong areas are, where his weaknesses are as well. And I think that FB Ref here should give you an idea of where he is in the percentile. And you know, we'll have to consider that he was at Ipswich Town. He was, of course, the top goal scorer for them in the Premier League with 12, and then the massive drop off is that then the second highest goal scorer, I believe, was scored 4 goals. So you can obviously a relegated ridden team like Ipswich Town, you can't really expect the greatest. But I mean, to look at how many goals that they end up having at the end of the season quickly. But yeah, I mean, with him, his physique, he's always been classified as a, what you call it? He's classified as a Diego Costa builds type of player. The way that he's physical, the way that he likes to get in, you know, and he likes to get physical. He doesn't shy away from those duels. Those ground duels, he's always trying. He doesn't always win, or he didn't always win those duels. And of course, I would have seen people making little comps of, oh, this is the striker that we were getting. And I mean, the thing is, I believe that he can succeed. He's still very young. He's 22, as Jerry mentioned earlier. And I don't want to be sounding like a broken record, but as I said, Jerry said a lot. So it's kind of difficult not to repeat some of what he said. I would probably just have to reword some of what he said, or what I want to say, in a way that it doesn't sound exactly like what he said. But, in terms of how young Liam Delap is, I don't really think 22 is as young as it once was, because you've seen a lot of players in recent time. Cannot not mention Lamine Yamal, I should say. He started off very early, and we were able to see what he's done for Barcelona. Not comparing the players and saying that, this, because obviously they play in two different roles. They have two different responsibilities. But at the same time, Liam Delap is not just a player that looks to score goals. He's also a player that looks to create chances for his teammates. Now, of course, there's instances where he does decide to go on his own, or to take a shot rather than to make a pass, which, of course, and I really don't want to be saying, as Jerry says constantly, but as Jerry did say, a lot of the shots that he took, and a lot of the opportunities that he tried to create for himself after receiving the ball, it left a lot to be desired. I think that's exactly what Jerry said as well. But it's a good way, and it's a good idiom to use, that Liam Delap does have a lot of areas that he needs to improve in, and areas that he needs to improve upon. So, of course, the statistics here, you can see the percentile, you can see a lot of gray areas, a little pinkish red, or red pink, I don't even know colors or shades like that, but red, you can see the red, you can see the gray, you can see the green that is right there. Let me see if I'm hoping you guys are able to see it. If not, I can zoom it in a bit more. But non-penalty goals, I believe he scored only 2 penalty goals last season in the Premier League. So I think he has 10 non-penalty goals as well, and he scored. Of course, he has 2 penalty goals as well. So for the non-penalty goals per 90, 0.34. I'm not really a stat man. I don't really like stats, because I think stats can deceive you, and stats never tells the full story, no matter what area of life it is. It could be football, it could be overall. I don't think statistics are as accurate as you want it to be, but it gives you an idea of what most or a large amount of the population thinks, or whatever is being observed. And in the case of football, what is perhaps closest to the actual case. So non-penalty goals 0.34, as I said, per 90, and he's in the 46th percentile for that. Non-penalty XG 0.27, 26th percentile. Their shots total 2.27, 39 percentile. So all these numbers so far are not really the greatest. If you go down to assists 0.07, this is one reason why I don't really trust statistics, because it will give you the impression that he has not created opportunities, and as a result, his assist numbers are bad because of that. No, the team itself wasn't the greatest at Ipswich Town, and of course it shows, because if the team was collectively better, I'm sure they wouldn't have gotten relegated. And that's not me taking a dig at the team. Of course, we know the circumstances. We know that they don't have the opportunity to really spend like other clubs, or the giant clubs in the league are able to. But of course, you can see that the percentile going down. You see 16 percentile for NPXG plus XAG. So of course, that's expected assisted goals, and of course, you see the expected goals as well. And then you see the pass attempted. He's in the 2 percentile. You have 2.25 per 90 in that aspect. Pass completion possession, that is percentage, I should say, is 61.3%, and that's 11 percentile. And as you go down here, you see 2 more positive, which is progressive carries. He always loves to run the ball. 87 percentile there. And of course, as I said, take-ons, he doesn't shy away from taking on players. He's always trying to win duels and always trying to win the ball and be physical. So of course, it's no surprise that he's in the 93rd percentile for that aspect. Touches, and of course, you would see that 3.16, 7 percentile. So not the greatest. So of course, as coach rightfully said, you have to think about the chances that he got as well, and also the club that he was at. So you can able to see that he was hitting the ceiling a lot, and perhaps a move would have been good for him, because I think him going to the championship again would have been unfortunate for him. But of course, we know that the price tag and the deal that was agreed upon, of course, the asking price would have definitely taken a nosedive there, and obviously it would have become cheaper, or not necessarily at that level, in terms of how high of asking price you see in this market and in this day and age. So, of course, I know I've been seeing a lot. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add, SK. I'm going to give Jerry the time to really, ponder about what else he wants to say, because he said a lot prior. So anything you want to say about the statistics or anything in terms of your expectations from Liam Delap or anything like that?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
like...
Yeah, SK, please go ahead. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I was just going to say, no, like when you, like from what I have watched of him, right, and when you kind of like are looking at all these numbers to really tell a story, like the progressive carry numbers make sense, especially when you look at, because I think Ipswich are like bottom in the league in terms of possession, so he's gonna have a lot of space to run into, which of course translates well to like his physical profile. I remember I was watching like one of those compilations of like those shooting compilations, and one of the things I did like about him was I would notice that like he could get shots off relatively well on both feet. So I thought he's decently two-footed for someone that's considered to be like pretty raw. I thought maybe like and like I think you said Jerry was saying this too, like kind of the more soft skills, I guess, so in terms of like being able to like have consistently good touches or being able to be good at creating separation for his shots. I think that's probably the two most significant things he would need to work on, especially if he wants to be at like a higher tier club. But I kind of just wanted to add that because I especially think like the carries and stuff kind of correlates especially well with how much space he gets in behind due to obviously Ipswich not having as much possession as like more as like better teams.
I mean, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I can, Tyrone, I can.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah, take your time. I'll
So
ask somebody.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna rely on my
Sure.
good brother
Take your
here,
time.
Jerry, to hold on the fort. I'll be right back. So be with me.
All right. So yeah, SK, please go ahead. So I'll be just like I'm here with you until Ty is back. So I agree with you. I agree with you. So yeah, I've already said a lot at the start of the show. So like I'm a statsman myself. I love stats. That's my field. But the thing is, like, we have to see the context, right? And it's so difficult. It's obvious. Like if he played for Ipswich, it we have to like then understand. We have to watch the games. We have to see like what were the circumstances. If you just put the stats out there, which is fine, but you may not understand, or layman may not, or even I won't be able to understand until I see the whole picture, the game, and the opportunities and everything. If you just see in black and white, it may be difficult to understand. And again, like you can understand, it has to do with the mindset as well. Like if knowing that you're playing for fighting for the relegation, you're getting few chances, so it may be like you can be more desperate. Like you it does reflect, right? It's not the same if he was playing for a team. But having said that, of course, as you identified, as I mentioned, there are areas of improvement, but I'm not really concerned. I think it's a great signing. Of course, it's not an elite signing, but of course we have got a proper number 9 finally. So anyways, please go ahead and anything you would like to add.
I mean, no, I think we've kind of hit it all in terms of like, what, he does, what he's shown at least so far. I guess maybe the better thing for me to ask you is, do you think what aspects of his games do you think he already has that maybe doesn't really like reflect at a lower club, right? Like that you think he's already like refined? Is there anything that you think he's already like good at that maybe just isn't going to show up at like a club like Ipswich because of the fact that they don't have the ball that much, or because obviously they're not as good, generally speaking?
Yes, a very good question. So I think like he fits in well in Mariska's system. He has played under him in Manchester City Academy, and he's good with the ball. He's not great with the ball, but he has all the attributes that he is a naturally good on the ball. He fits in the ball position system, the pressing system of Enzo Maresca, and he needs a number 9, right? So he's a good finisher as well. So, because we have been talking about the areas to improve, so I think, as you mentioned, I think all of that he can bring it immediately. His positional awareness as well, and of course in modern football and especially in English Premier League, they need to track back and defend. So I think he can bring all those elements and qualities right away. Of course, I'm not saying it's perfect, not at all, but I don't think so. Like a lot of work needs to be done in the areas that I mentioned. So that's why I believe it's a great signing. Again, it's difficult, right? Without a player having played for your club, coming from an Ipswich to Chelsea, it's a huge change. It's a huge move. It's a big curve. So it's difficult to predict or say like how it will be. But according to my observation and research, these are some of the elements that I think he can bring in immediately. What do you have to say?
Well, yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, and I think because even just when I look at him, right, like we talk about like the ball carrying, for example. I think he has like it's weird because he has like a really like weird stride. Like if you notice the way he runs, like when he takes a step, he usually gathers like a lot of space between each step, right? So like a lot of other players, like they may take like smaller steps. So I feel like that might be part of the reason why he has like a harder time like shifting with the ball because like he doesn't like he kind of commits to a direction when he's dribbling really fast, as opposed to having the ball like under like tight control and like taking a lot of like smaller steps, so it's like easier to kind of adjust when the defender reaches out for the ball. But I think that like for example something like that is just kind of who he is like as a player, as opposed to something that I think he could like work on. Um, Obviously we already established that like in transition he is obviously going to be elite or at the very least very very good in that aspect. And I think what would also be interesting too is kind of see the way that the other players work off of him. Because something like if I were to compare it to Jackson, one of the things I definitely think he does better than Jackson already is he is what's it called? Wait, do you hear that?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah. One of the things I think he does better than Jackson Ray is I think his movement in the box um, is a lot better. So even just something as simple as that is gonna like should in theory like really improve what the other players are allowed to do, because now that should open up more spaces in like the defensive gaps for them to exploit. Like you think about like someone like an Enzo or Cucurella who's already shown that they're good at like crashing the box. That should theoretically make that job even easier because Delap could do a better job in terms of like occupying defenders and kind of dividing their attention. So it's like those little things like that. How is Pompa gonna work off of him? Because he kind of just because I'm not sure yet how good he is in the air. But do you know how good he is in the air? Like in terms of like winning
Yeah,
areas.
yeah, he's good. He's good in
Okay,
the air.
so yeah, so
Yeah.
if he's good in the air too, then that
Better
also
than Nicholas Jackson.
yeah. But if so, yeah, if he's good at that, that also just kind of opens up another dimension for the teammates to play off of as well. Because now, crosses are more of like a viable option. Winning the second ball off of crosses aerially in the air. Now Sanchez or whoever the goalkeeper is can actually go long and have like a higher expectation for the striker to be able to win the ball back. So I think those are things that even just as he is right now are things that I think he can bring to the squad as is, and it'll be interesting to see kind of how the other players like play off of that because that kind of just adds another dimension to what they can do.
Yeah, interesting take. Very well said. So one follow-up question, you can say, the host mentioned Nicholas Jackson, Nico Jackson. Interesting. So where do you see like Nico Jackson? Like, do you think both of them can play? Like, of course, if Delap will play, for sure, Nicholas Jackson will occupy another space, right? Um, so generally, what do you think of Nicholas Jackson? How he would fit in now that we have Delap?
I definitely think it's good because now it kind of offers some competition. Because I'm not honest, I don't really see either one as being like definitively better than the other as it stands right now. Like I would say, like Jackson's probably better as like a ball carrier. Probably better like dribbling. I would say right now, but obviously like there's the other things that I said I think Delap is better at. So I think it could be one of two things. It could just be can one I'll just straight up outperform the other. Also just depends on what the match requires. Like if the match has more physical defenders and Chelsea are probably going to be dominating territory more, and you kind of just need like a better box presence, then yeah, you'd probably be looking to start Delap more. If Chelsea bring in like a winger that can score more goals and will need like a striker that can do a better job in terms of like playing that winger in, then you might look to start Jackson in a game like that. So I think right now, because neither one is like definitively better than the other, it could just be a matter of who's on better form or what skill does that specific game require and who's better at performing that skill. Assuming that Chelsea don't bring in another striker that is just like that's just better than those two.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Tyrone, are you back?
Yeah, briefly. I'm back briefly. Let me see if I can give me a few. I just wanted to share this since you started mentioning Nicholas Jackson. This is a report. Let me know if you guys are able to see it properly for I need to zoom in.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so this was what so Matt Law said this. Let me quickly read it and then I'll see if I can get my camera back on. So it says Chelsea expect Liam Delap and Nicholas Jackson to compete for the outer nose striker position, with Hugo Ekitike or another versatile forward providing a further option from deep or wide position. So this gives the impression that Chelsea may try to sign another striker. We obviously heard things that they're not necessarily pushing to get another striker before the Club World Cup. So if they do sign a second one, it may be after the Club World Cup, as they obviously have options. So they don't necessarily think they would need anybody else. There, you don't want to really be overloading the squad there. So they're going to need some players for the Club World Cup. Of course, some of those players may go on loan after the Club World Cup. So, of course, we know that the summer transfer window isn't officially open. This is just a special window for clubs in the Club World Cup who, want to reinforce some areas or all of that. It's a grace period for them. It's a olive branch, I'd say, for some of those teams that perhaps need that depth or need to get some replacement, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys think about this, but this is what was briefed yesterday. I believe it was.
Yes, SK just just mentioned that and hit the nail when you mentioned that both. It's a good opportunity that we have two strikers, and they can compete for the number 1 spot or the number 9 spot. So yeah, I mean, it's always better to be clear who's your striker is, but it's not bad when Nicholas Jackson's still developing and it's Delap's. It will be Delap's first season with Chelsea, so it's good. This competition could be good, but at the same time, we don't want to, in my opinion, experiment a lot, play them in different games, and at the end, it becomes a revolving door, is what I mean. So if we go with this report, which I'm not sure at this moment, it's a little bit far-fetched. With 3 strikers, it's crazy, to be very honest. But if that happens, in my opinion, one will be loaned. It probably sold as well, like in Nicholas Jackson could be that person or could be that player. So that remains to be seen. But as the sooner we can be clear who the number 9 is or will be, the better for Chelsea.
I will allow you to go if you want to say something, SK, but I definitely have something to say about what Jerry just said. And I raised it on a different show. I believe it was last week. So I think it was, yeah, last week, Friday, I mentioned about three strikers. But if you have anything to say, I'll allow you to go ahead and then I'll respond to what Jerry said or add some
No, go
input
ahead.
on that's what he said.
No, go ahead. Cook.
Cook, okay, wow. That's that. No pressure, no, have to cook.
I've given you the ingredients, so you better not burn it because I will turn off the
Okay,
light.
wow. Well, I'm not a bad cook, so I'll do my best. But it's not necessarily grilling. I'm not grilling Jerry. It's just a case of just being objective, and of course trying to make this be dynamic by just simply posing a question to him. Um, I'm sure you've been a Chelsea fan longer than I've been alive. That isn't me trying to expose your age. Forgive me for that. I don't know why I say it like that, but essentially you've been a Chelsea fan obviously through the Roman era, knowing the blue coat era or the Bully Clear League era. I'm sure you've seen it where we've had three strikers or three versatile forwards or wide attackers or wide forwards. I'm sure you'd have seen that, and we found ways to make it work. Of course, what comes to my mind is Drogba and Elka. We had some Solomon Kalou at one point. Malouda isn't necessarily a striker, but he was more so like a more advanced attacker as well. So you had those options. So there is space, and I think this is something that many people are forgetting, that we had no striker last season. Of course, nobody people who say we could never have foreseen getting the injuries that we got, but in a day and age like this where you see injuries hitting players left, right, and center, and Chelsea have had a bad record winning or bad luck, I would say, in terms of injury records in recent seasons. I think the more is better, and there is a space for another striker. So three strikers, no, there's nothing wrong with that. We're going to be playing a lot of competition. We have Champions League football to play. We have the cup competitions to play as well. And of course, you want to develop stability, but at the same time, we need competition. And that's what Nicholas Jackson lacked this season. So there was nothing to really push him to really get to another level or try to do better. So as much as Jackson can play central, he can also play wide, and you need competition for those wide areas as well. Jadon Sancho is not going to be signed, so that's one less option that you have on that left-hand side presently. Of course, we know Chelsea want to sign a winger, but I do believe, and my question to you is, don't you think that it is better you have options that are fluid or give you that ability to be versatile? Because Jackson can play left. Delap can also play as a left-sided forward as well. So it's not a case where they have to play centrally or they have to be contending always to play for the central area, because both can be playing at the same time due to how fluid Maresca likes his team to play in the past. And the whole 4-2-3-1 changed into a 4-4-2. We saw with the false line system and how he was forced to do that. So my question, albeit it's very long, is don't you think that there is a space, giving all those circumstances, injury records and all that, for three strikers or for an additional player, and rather than looking at, oh, we must sell this player because we need space?
Okay, interesting. So, anyways, that's your take. What I was saying, that the sooner Chelsea can identify as the number nine, the better. So I've never said that we shouldn't have an option or an alternate. Just to be clear, uh, look, if we play them together, I have no problem. If you ask me, I would prefer them. I mean, I would love to see them playing together, but Nico Jackson is a left winger, which I think is his best position in my opinion. And as you said, because Delap would, like, we have to see like how much time he will take to integrate. Can he hit the ground running and all that? Nicholas Jackson is improving. That's fine. We need to have an option. But what I was saying, that we don't want like for 18 games this player like starting for another 18 or sorry 19 games in the Premier League, just saying for the law of average and just become a revolving door. They can play together for sure, but at the end of the day, the examples that you gave, they were good, but Drogba was always the first choice. It wasn't that Drogba was benched made apart from a game or two. You see what I mean? And unless he was playing with a second striker, same with Costa. So yeah, I got what you're saying, but I'm saying like if we have to go with developing like in Holland or a striker which all the top teams have or has in the past. So it's important that we can identify like what's the plan. It's not that we want to utilize, okay, let's have Nico Jackson for these games. Let's see how Delap can fit in. For sure, it can and will take some time to identify, to figure out. But personally, I would think it would be better for Chelsea if they can identify like which player they can trust and bank on.
Well, fair enough. And I of course, I picked up on what you're saying. I'm just trying to be objective by asking that. And of course, what I was leaning towards is the fact that if you were to subscribe, I know that you said it is kind of, well, not to misquote what you said. I'm not going to try to paraphrase it, but essentially what I got from what you said initially from this report is that you're not really sure if you really buy into what Matt Law says here or what he briefed yesterday. But if you were to subscribe to that a bit, of course, you know that there's an opportunity for Jackson to play wide, and of course utilize a striker like Liam Delap, or if they do indeed sign a second striker, utilize that second striker as well. But it's about competition. And of course, Drogba, as you said, Drogba was always seen as the first choice. But of course, I'm sure that at that time, whoever the manager was, I'm not going to try to pretend, because I'm trying to remember who was manager at that point.
Was,
There's a lot of. It was who?
So it was actually, it was a bunch of people. It was initially it was Grant. But I think that at that time, that season, Drogba was like injured a lot, so Nelco just played by default. And then under Scolari, Drogba was injured a lot too, but I think Scolari favored like Anelka's like skill set more anyway, so he didn't play him as much. And then obviously you have that third season with Ancelotti, which is where obviously Drogba like scores like 29, so he basically just played like a bulk of the minutes due to like better form anyway. And then I think Anelka left after that, so. Yeah, so I think it was like 3 years.
Right, fair enough. Deals CFCS joined. Big up to you. What do you have to say about the signing? And thank you. It's been a while since you've been on the channel. I hope you're good as well. I was supposed to reach out to you, didn't get the chance. What are you doing, Deals?
Big up, TY. Big up. It's been a minute, my brother. It's been a minute still. Hope you're doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad. What do you think about the Liam Delap signing? I know you're going to be vocal about other signings as well. So, what do you think about Delap?
I don't mind this signing. I feel like it's a good signing for us for the future, but I don't think it's a signing for now. Because shall I tell you the reason why that I'm going to talk about this? It's because half of the chances that we create, I do believe that he would bury a lot of chances, but it's just that, is he ready, the proven hitter right now? I'm not quite too sure about that. I think he would hit at least good numbers, like 15, 16 goals next season, but I just don't think he's that proven hitter. You know what I mean? If we bring a proven hitter in, I understand the signing. If we don't, I don't understand what we're trying to build in terms of his development. You know what I mean, TY?
I think I get what you're saying.
Would you agree to that, TY?
Oh, you put me on the spot. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. And what I love about this is that there's a lot of differing opinions as to what the plan could be with him. Of course, if we do send a second striker or an additional striker, of course, it will leave you to question: is it a case where will he be the number one choice? And it goes back to what Jerry said before he came on as well, Deals, as to you want to be able to determine who your first choice is. I just think that probably wording it like that is going to be problematic, because you don't want these young players to believe that you have a first choice, and we're not going to be bashing Maresca here, but there's one thing that Maresca did that I just didn't like, which is the fact of just coming out and saying, oh yes, this is my first choice, and of course you can do that, but you don't, the way in which you say it, don't give the impression that if a player is doing better than another player at a certain point in the season, that they're never gonna play because we have this spirit. And that's what he did a lot. He did it with João Felix. Not gonna go down that road again. I've mentioned it numerous times on the channel, but I don't want him to be doing that, and I probably don't word as old. He is our first choice, but let the players recognize that, okay, this is the case. But don't come out and say, oh, this is my first choice, and these players will have to work extra hard because this is my. No, you don't do that, because that can actually derail the mentality of the players, and also it can devalue how the whole aspect of that, because we know young players, football has evolved from, if you be ruthless, players can understand it. A lot of these players, they're more emotion driven.
TY, the last time that Maresca managed Delap, that was academy football. This is
Yes,
This is men's football. We're not talking academy football here. We're dealing with grown men football, and this is the difference to football. Like, it's not dissimilar to academy football here. You know what I mean? As much as he's played with Lavia, as much as he's played with Palmer, as much as he's been managed under Maresca before, do I believe that he can get the best out of Delap? Yes and no. It just depends on how it suits the system for Delap. If we're accommodating to Delap, if his strengths are gonna accommodate to the other players around him. You know what I mean, TY?
Yeah, I get your point. I have to step away again. Please hold on the phone for me, Jerry, if you're there.
Sure. Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead, and if you have to add anything, please go ahead. Deal CFC. Please go ahead.
What was the question?
No, I'm just saying if you like to continue what you were saying.
Yeah, what I was about to say is that I feel like with Delap, it's just like a signing that I feel like it's not a number one striker, proven striker yet, because he's not. He's still developing in his development. But can he do what Palmer did? Now that's the question. Can he hit amount of numbers of goals next season? It will be interesting to see, because, like, again, another thing, competition, fight for your places. I want players fighting for their places like it means something. You know what I mean? It means that they're gonna fight for their place in the squad. Do you know what I mean? I don't want them feeling that it's comfortable. Look at Jackson. Jackson's been here for 2 seasons, and he thinks that he's gonna be in the starting lineup constantly. You know what I mean? And he's not had competition. Now's the competition. Now's the time to rise. You know what I mean? TY, up to you.
I like how you came in with objectivity. You came in with questions and to get us to think, and I think it aligns with what Jerry said. I almost said Puggy on my days, because Puggy's comment is up. But he says the lap will be I don't know. Puggy said that they are a female, so I'm gonna say she said, because I have to respect that revelation that happened yesterday. So, but I would just say they, because I'm just not sure. It just seems suspicious to me. But anyways, Delap would be the first choice. So Puggy believes that from the get-go that he will be. So we'll see what happens. But it all depends on how it goes. And I like this. And it goes back to what I said before you came on, is that competition is important. We need to have competition. You cannot have, and as you rightfully said, and I made that point before you came on as well, that Jackson did not have that opportunity of being tested. So if he was not performing good, we had no other choice unless you trusted a academy striker to play. There was nobody else, so it was just him. And Nkunku was injured, albeit Nkunku is not a striker, although he said he's a striker. A whole bunch of confusion there. And Mark Guy, or whatever the name's pronounced as, he was also out, the young striker that we have as well, which leaves the question as to where will he go. We hear that he may go to a loan. So there's a lot of questions about where these strikers will go, who will be playing, who will be staying. We'll have to see what happens there. But it's a very good, I think it's a good problem to have. I don't think it's going to be detrimental to the team. And as my fellow friend and brother, Bobby would say, bless him as well, he would say that, there's nothing wrong with having good players on the bench. You don't want to be having just squad players on the bench. Of course, you need players who can come off the bench, right? You have some players that could come off the bench and impact the game. Obviously, we know Fernando Torres. He didn't have the greatest time at Chelsea, but when he came on, he could be impactful. Whether it was him scoring goals or him leading to a chance being created. We know the Champions League final and the semi-final against Barcelona proved that. So you need good players on the bench, not just mediocre players or players that cannot come on and be of impact. So it's good to have good players on the bench, and I don't know why a lot of fans have a problem with that. I find it strange that you want us to get rid of all the good players that we potentially have, send them out on loan or sell them just because of that.
Do you remember when we had lots of depth in the Roman days? We had lots of depth in the bench. Like, we had good players on the bench in the Roman days. It's like they forget that them days when we had lots of depth to come off the bench. You know what I mean? Like, players deserve to be fighting for their positions. It's not like they can come here and relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. It's just like, and of course, Jerry did pose a question. I don't know if SK wants to add anything, or either of them want to add anything to what we've said so far. And of course, I just want to make it known that I'm not favoring what you're saying, Deals, but it aligns a bit with what I'm saying. Also, what Jerry said also aligns with what I'm saying, and SK, of course, would have touched on it. So there's aspects there and that's why I'm saying there's a lot of diversity here. Everybody's giving the opinions. Everybody's not all agreeing, and that's good. I prefer shows where we're not disrespecting each other, but we're being objective and we're actually letting people know what we think. So I don't know if SK has anything to say, or Jerry.
SK, please go ahead. Are you there? Hello?
TY.
TY is not here. They all left us in the middle of the show. Wow, TY, SK. Yeah, anyway, sir, you go ahead if you like to add something.
No, you go ahead. What's your thoughts on? I would like to know what your thoughts on.
Yeah, I'm happy. I think it's a fantastic signing. I said a lot at the start of the show, and I'm saying, based on, look, my choice would be, okay, to explain you, and thanks for the question. Like Victor Osimhen, I love Osimhen. I rate him. I want him.
Yeah,
but again, like, I also understand at the same time that we can appreciate or we can criticize the sporting structure. The recruitment structure. So I know they have a structure, and which is good, which is not great, but it is good, and they are following that to the core, to the dot. So the way I see it, that if they would, it's not that they cannot pay, they have the money. Victor Osimhen's wages, if they entertain that, or any other player, right, an elite player, let's put elite striker or striker of the highest order, then the Cole Palmers, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedos of this world would naturally want their wages to be increased, and that will be a compounding, multiplying factor. So I see that's why they are not going for it. We can criticize, or we can say that, the structure is not the best. That's another point, right? So based on the structure, I think it's a good signing, if that makes sense. And I think because he played at Ipswich, if we see the stats, it may look good at best, but again, we have to understand he played with a team that got relegated, right? Still young. I think he has really good attributes.
What's your name?
In my opinion, yeah, please go ahead.
What's your name?
Jerry.
Oh, Jerry. So I'll call you Jerry. Cool, cool. But
Yes, sir.
so I wanted to talk about this ownership. Like again, at the same time, yeah, we know this ownership's nothing like Roman, right? It's completely different. They're going down this youngster route, building around youngsters, like you said there. When we had Casado, we have Palmers, we have Cucurella's. We've got players there to build around. We've got players that we can build around under this ownership. But they choose to build around the going down the other route of going to get other youngsters, and it's like they don't want to bring any elite mentality to the squad. You know what I mean? Like we need elite players in the team, and it doesn't help the manager as well. I don't know if you lot agree with this or not. Do you think it helps the manager, or do you think it plays the effect into the manager's plans?
I mean, I think it depends. Ooh, is my audio fine?
SK, if you'd like to go first, please go ahead.
Okay.
Then maybe I'll answer.
No, I think it depends. I think because that's partly obviously that's part of the reason why they hired like a young championship manager, right? Like he's not gonna have as high as a bar in terms of the caliber of players to bring in as like if you get like an Inzaghi or an Allegri or a more established like manager in their career. So I think the thing with this ownership group is because when that first summer that they came in is always so weird to look at when you compare it to like every other transfer window that Chelsea's had, right? Like you look at all of like the quote unquote elite players that came in that summer window, right? In terms of like your Sterlings.
Yeah, but they was elite players, but they was past their prime. They wasn't like they're the same player from like when they was younger. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they was hitting shreds up. You know what I mean? Koulibaly wasn't doing it. Neither was Sterling, and neither was Aubameyang. So we have to be real here. There were better options in the market at the time. You can't tell me that.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm more so saying that when they brought them in, they weren't looking at them as like beyond their prime. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. Whether like they were or they weren't isn't really my point. My point is like when the ownership group brought him in, they assumed they were still getting prime Sterling, prime Koulibaly, and Aubameyang. Like is that fair to say?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I think when those transfers came in and they failed as spectacularly as they did, because you have to keep in mind, right? Like, given how like this is a consortium of like business people, they were probably looking at their ROI and they were like, well, if we're gonna bring in transfers and they don't work out, we need to be able to make money back on them. Which is why I'm assuming they're in that January 2023 transfer window. You see they went out and they bought a whole bunch of young players, and I think now this summer is going to give us like it's probably going to be the most important in terms of telling us where their head is at, because now they have Champions League football. They have a good base in terms of the squad to build upon by bringing in more higher caliber players. So if this summer they don't do that, then yeah, it's probably cooked in terms of like ever bringing in like a prime 26, 27-year-old, because this is the type
SK, is that SK?
Yeah.
My point on this, I like again they're working on around the wage structure, and that's the issue that I've got, because you can't think that you're gonna build around the wage structure when it's like it's not gonna work out properly. Like you can't be bringing like younger players to the club when we're in the Champions League. You know what I mean? We have to take it very serious, but we're not taking it seriously, and that's the issue that I've got with the ownership.
I get what you're saying in terms of like, obviously when you're trying to go for higher tier trophies like the Champions League or the league, right? You do need like that experience. So I don't fully disagree with that. I think the thing with them is because who's the highest person? I think the highest earner right now is Reece James, right?
Yeah, it is 250.
And like 250. Yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure that was from Romans. Was that from Romans era, or was that from
their era? They changed Reece James' contract to 250.
Okay.
Am I
So
Ty? Was it them? Ty.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think they were the one that. Yeah. Because they said he earned it based on what he did, and then he became captain and all that. Yeah.
okay. So that tells me that I guess that is like the max that they're willing to go at the moment. Is that enough to get like an out and out without a shadow of that best player in the world? Probably not. Like we're gonna be honest with you. You're looking at like lower 300K, higher like 200K, if that is the caliber of player that you're trying to get out the gate. So I don't fully disagree with you that they are gonna have to break that wage structure at some point. I think part of that might be also why they have so many assets as they do, because if they ever get to that point where they decide to do that, they have a lot of assets to raise the money to do that. But I don't really know what their thought process is either, so I don't fully disagree with what you're saying.
And it's the way that they enter deals as well, though, SK and TY and Jerry. The fact that they enter deals thinking that they can go into deals thinking that they can negotiate a certain amount and it doesn't work out. It's like they don't know what they're trying to do in the deals. It's like they feel pressured by it. You know what I mean, TY and Jerry and SK. Don't you think, TY?
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that one, because I feel like they honestly, I would probably go as far as say they overpay on a lot of these young players.
So the question that you asked, Deals, if I remember well, like you said, this is the plan, this is what the owners are doing. They're getting younger players at a certain wage. And I think what you said at the end, or what you asked at the end, isn't it like you can say a disadvantage for the manager? So, well, look, I think that there are two sides. Like one is that they have a very defined structure. A lot of fan base are not happy with their owners and sporting directors because it's all over the place. At least we have a structure. It may not be the best, but we have a
Wait there, Jerry. What I'm trying to say, well, I know what you're trying to do. We have a structure and what we're trying to do. But it's like you can't build around with the amount of young players that we have. We need at least experienced guys in the building. You know what I mean? We like, how many experienced guys have we got in the building? Like, come on now. Like, who's got Champions League experience in the building? That's another thing as well. How many of these players have experience in playing in the Champions League? TY, can you explain?
James does. Cole Palmer, you have to be fair. Cole Palmer does to some extent. I have to think about who is in the squad. What they do have, a lot of them do actually. At Chelsea as well. It's just that it was for one season. Some do. Was it for Fana does? Because he obviously played in the Champions League with him. I have to think about everybody. Kukurea. Yeah, Kukurea would have, because he joined. We played in Champions League after Tuchel was sacked. I don't even remember. That was so long ago. This is how bad it was.
We didn't play last year. We were there year before.
I feel like Badi Shield would, right? Technically for Monaco,
yeah.
Probably.
We didn't play.
Yeah, but Badi Shield did as well. Yeah, all those. Yeah, Badi Shield.
Well, yeah. You know what I think it is as well? I feel like the lack of quality in the team that we're trying to build in the team. You know what I mean? I feel like if we bought a proven striker like a Osherman and then buy a Delap, it would make all sense. You know what I mean? Because Delap is learning from somebody. He's learning from a proven striker. You don't go get Delap and another 22-year-old striker. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean, TY?
I get what you're saying, and perhaps you're alluding to like saying Hiro Ekitiki. To me, Hugo Ekitike, he's good, but I just don't see. But if they do, it wouldn't surprise me, because I think was it SK, and I think Jerry also alluded to it, that not think Jerry did mention it, because I remember he did mention it about the model of signing young, and I mentioned this yesterday as well. It's about futuristic perspective, and of course SK mentioned that the risk is obviously high, because if you're signing players and say, oh, in 5 to 6 years they'll be the next best thing, that's risky. And as business people, we know that you can't. I don't want to use this terminology or this analogy, but a lot of business people, they get rich because they take risks. So of course you take risk, calculated risk as well in their eyes, using data, using statistics, using all of that to really stir their opinions. But I just don't I don't subscribe to signing just a whole bunch of young players or young strikers. You already have Mark Dew. If you want to say that he's future, he's 18 years old, fine. So of course he's younger than Hugo Ekitike, for example, or Liam Delap, but also get some experience on that attack, because I think we lack that experience where in some matches you can see somebody just do something and it turns the match around. We saw James do that because he's experienced. Now, he has won the league with us, but he's won the Champions League. He's won things. He's been a part of a team that go through adversity, try to push through. Of course, him coming through at a very young age as well. So all of that goes back to perhaps why they're saying, because James is a good example of over time you get those experiences. He came in under Lampard, transfer ban.
A lot of pressure is gonna be on the lap. Like if he doesn't deliver, a lot of fans are gonna say, "Oh, he should have scored 30 goals, 20 goals." He's not that type of player to actually say that he's gonna get 20, 30 goals. Because let's be real, how old is he? 22 years old. He's coming in with a lot of pressure, coming in from Ipswich as well, by the way. You know what I mean? So you can't like, there's no guarantee in this game, and like you said, TY, taking big risks. You know what I mean? We're taking a huge gamble bringing in 22-year-olds as a striker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you guys have anything else you want to say, then you can do that. But I want to just share the statistics because I finally brought it up. And since we're talking about the risks and also the pressure that'll be on it, I want to show you guys the chance created by Ipswich Town and who was the top chance creators in comparison to Chelsea, so you can have an idea. But if you guys have anything you want to say before I go to this, because I think we need to round off very soon. I said 45 minutes and we've gone over an hour, but nonetheless, it's been a very good discussion. Anybody else have anything else to say before I go to quickly doing this?
Yeah, no, just winding the thoughts on the sporting project, the recruitment. I'm fine. I'm completely fine with that because, look, I haven't designed that, first of all, but I'm the last person who would like challenge or make it difficult for an organization what they want to do. So I see what they want to do, right? It's a long-term project. And it's about sustainability. It's about growing. It's something different that we have not seen in the past. And they have been very consistent. As SK said in the start, they had some signings, but then started recruiting all the young talent. So in that way, I was saying they're consistent. I'm not saying this is the best model, right? It may be. We have to see. The whole plan is, of course, to develop everyone, all the players together, integrate. And of course, it's also good for selling, not in a negative way, as people say, it can become a selling club in terms of that if they have to sell some of the players, it will be sustainable. So I think they have been very vocal in all the interviews in Bloomberg, BBC, in Daily Mail, and all the other articles that I read their interviews and the transcripts recently and also last year, that this is a long-term project. They say 5 to 10 years. I know it sounds draining. It's not the best thing we want to hear. I get frustrated, trust me. But this is what it is. I'll be surprised if they change the plan. So I'm fine with it. As far as you said that the manager would be at a disadvantage, I have a different take. I think the reason they got Mariska is because of this plan, and the reason they gave Mariska 5 + 1 year deal is to grow together. They all grow together. He has a specific way to play. I'm not his biggest fan, you can say, of Enzo Maresca, but he has a specific way to play. The owners want that. The good thing is, you might be saying I'm praising the sporting directors and the owners a lot. Where do I go if I criticize? It's a problem. If I, give the flowers, it's a problem. I'm just saying. I'm not saying to you. I'm saying to someone else.
You go on.
I'm not saying to
Go
you,
on.
sir. So the thing is that they are building a team that fits the Enzo Maresca's system. So I see a lot of strengths and there's a lot of strength and positives over here. So Enzo Maresca, if Enzo Maresca was appointed and they had given the Victor Osimhens and the elite players of this world, they would have questioned Enzo Maresca to start with. So I think it's good for Enzo Maresca to work with these players and grow. Anyways, that's my opinion.
I disagree. The reason why, is because that if we had proven players, I think would be a lot higher than we expected. You know what I mean? I feel like the proven players would have done something by now, and that's a fact. The proven players ain't walking in and they would handle the pressure properly at being at Chelsea Football Club. You know what I mean?
Depending on who they are, of course. That's a very key thing.
Depending who they are, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking like KDH signings. I'm talking big boy signings. Yeah, I'm talking your likes of Oshimans. I'm talking your likes of a lack of Reinders. Yeah, I'm talking the likes of a Kovacic. I'm talking about that sort of age. You know what I mean? I'm not talking small ages here. You know what I mean? TY? TY?
Is he frozen?
Maybe screen is, I think, stuck or frozen. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not talking the likes of like KDH and all that stuff. Like, bro, let's be real here. We need signings that are gonna come in and actually hit the ground running and make the players, like you said, like Casado, your Lavias, your Palmers, build around them. You know what I mean? Don't build building around youngsters again, because they're not gonna learn. How are they gonna learn properly? How are they, you know what I mean? How are they gonna produce? You know what I mean? It's like, again, at the same time, I understand what we're trying to do. We're building around youngsters, but it's just that it's not gonna we're not gonna get nowhere. How are we gonna improve in terms of up the table? Because it's never been done before. You know what I mean? SK and Jerry.
SK, would you like to add anything?
No, I mean, no, I definitely get I definitely get his concern, and I feel like the Premier League right now, the landscape is in a bit of a weird place, right? Like, obviously, you have City bringing in a whole bunch of players for their rebuild. Liverpool,
they're bringing in established players. They're bringing in. No, I mean, they're not bringing in established players in Turkey, but they're still bringing in Grinders. They're still bringing in Eight Nori. They're still bringing in Livramento. That's quality. They're building in with quality, whereas we're building around young players with that they still need to develop. You know what I mean? SK and Jerry. You know what I mean?
You know, I get that, and I think, I mean, I don't know, because it's like, it's early. You know what? At best case scenario, I don't know if maybe they want to use this like Club World Cup thing as like a way to, I don't know, maybe assess.
Yeah, maybe that is.
Because I think if that's the case, then it might make sense that they're not like fully doing anything crazy yet in terms of transfers, because you know, the Club World Cup is another chance to play, like, see how they look against like the high caliber big European teams. Like, for example, I think if both them and PSG like beat like the smaller teams they're supposed to beat, then they'll play each other.
I don't, like you said again, SK. I don't expect many. A lot of briefs come out saying that we're gonna get our business done before the Club World Cup. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think we bring in at least 3 or 4 heads in before the World Cup, Club World Cup. But I don't expect us to get our business done, all of our business done by then. You know what I mean? SK.
I mean, I don't even think it's necessary because the Club World Cup ends in the middle of July, right? So that
Yeah.
still gives you 6 weeks to assess what is going on, right? So you have a tournament for you to really see how good this team is against higher caliber opposition. So I do think it would be like a bit unnecessary to be like, okay, now we have to like do all of this transferring right now. Like,
Do you think he will rotate in majority of the games, Jerry and SK?
I think maybe for like the smaller matches, maybe. I think that might be what I think that might be the move because obviously, like you would want to make sure none of the players are too burnt out, even for the start of the season. Unless they're playing like your Madrids, your PSGs, your Inters. So there's that.
Are you not excited about Esteval and Santos?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I try not to get excited about anyone until they actually put on that damn shirt, and I see like at least the first like 10 games, and then so I'll say give me the first 10 games, and I'll get back to you on that.
100% SK, 100%. Jerry,
they say it's the hope that kills you. So
the Club World Cup, I think, is a great opportunity for the fans as well, like to see where Chelsea stand in a way. I mean, with all due respect, like we were in the Conference League, so now we will be against, of course, the teams that we have in the group. They should be a problem, and once we'll be in the knockout stages, round of 16, and hopefully we'll have a deep run and maybe win the tournament. Anyways, it's a little bit far fetched at this time. So yeah, I would love to see us against Real Madrid, PSG, both of the teams, or at least one of the teams, Bayern Munich. So it will give us a good idea, I think, where we really are. And I'm sure Maresca will play a full strength squad. He may rotate a little bit, but that is only in the group stage, the 3 games that we have. That shouldn't be a problem going through. So yeah, I'm excited. We have something in the summer, so we have something immediately. It's important to give some rest as well. Like we'll be burned out a bit like other teams who are in the Club World Cup before the season starts. So will be interesting. Which game do you like to see, both of you? Like any game? Like for me, PSG or Real Madrid would be great. Chelsea versus either.
I think if we come across big teams, it's gonna be interesting because they are big clubs. You know what I mean? And the last time he was in the Champions League, I mean, it was like 3 years ago now, 2 years ago now. So like again, it's gonna be interesting to see what it's gonna be like against these teams. Do you think SK and Jerry that they will assess like it's like a preseason, SK and Jerry? Because do I believe that we got preseason still, SK and Jerry, or do we have a break after the Club World Cup?
I mean, I don't know because usually the preseason usually finishes like before the community shield, right? Usually, right? Is that usually how that works?
Yep. And another thing as well, SK, yeah. Be realistic for this one, yeah. And Jerry, who are your like ideal transfers? Like say five transfers. That's your ideal like transfers. Who would you want?
And you said to be like realistic, right? Like
you said ideal would be Lamine Yamal and Victor Osimhen, but that's just a fairy tale, right?
Realistic. Even
okay.
Pick 5
realistic transfers. I don't know. I like Radagui from Atalanta, but he's only had like one elite season, so I would hold off on him. I like Moise Kean from Fiorentina. I think he has a lot. He looks to me like a more polished version of Delap. As far as the winger situation is concerned, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what winger do I think? Maybe Barcola, but I don't know if it's even like really like realistic per se. Like he's probably not going to be the starting winger at PSG, but he does fit like the age profile that obviously Clear Lake like to go for. I don't really know. I don't really know any like young goalkeepers, or any really like I don't really know any like elite or good young goalkeepers at the moment to really suggest. Um, yeah, I mean that's probably where I'm at right now. I really have three. I'd have to like think about it some more to give you an answer. To be honest.
Me. I'm gonna go with my 5 idol players. I'm gonna go with my number one choice in terms of goalkeeper. I'm gonna go with idol. I'm gonna go with Bolka. Like we used to have him as a goalkeeper, and that's realistically. I'm going realistic. I'm not going in dream scenario here. I'm going realistic. I think he would be a good goalkeeper suggestion because he's been at the club before. You know, he knows what the standards are at Chelsea. You know what I mean? And I feel that he's gone on loan, a lot of loans while being at Chelsea, so he would know what to expectation to being at Chelsea. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't mind us going to get back him in. Um, and a right back, no, and a centre half. I'm gonna go with Bramthwaite. I do like Bramthwaite. The centre half, I do think he's very good. But no. Actually, I'm gonna go Hincapie from Leverkusen. I think he's a very good centre half. I think he knows how to be on the ball. He knows how to pass the ball properly and playing up from the back. I think he'll be an ideal centre half to play for us. And left back, I'm gonna go. I like who else is there? Left back wise, I'm gonna go with Estepinian because I do like Estepinian. I think he's a solid left back. But I also rate Gutierrez. I don't know if you lot know him. He's from what do you call it? Girona. He's a left back
Yeah,
from
I know. I
Girona.
know what you're talking about.
He's a very good left back. I actually rate him. And midfielders wise, um, I like Rogers. I really like Rogers. I think he's a very good option to bring into the team because I feel like we don't have no travellers on the ball, and I feel like he would travel with the ball correctly in the midfield. Wingers, I'm gonna go with Bacola. I feel Bacola is a very good winger and could make something happen at Chelsea. And striker, I'm gonna go Mateta. I actually like Mateta. I think he's a very good option. You know, I don't know about you lot, but I really rate Mateta. Ty, who would no Jerry? I'm gonna go with Jerry. Jerry, who's your idol? 5.
Oh, that's a big one. Uh, to be very honest, you may not like that. I'm like I trust the owners and the sporting directors, and I know what they're doing. So again, like I'm, shaped with the conventional classic big signings. So my signings would be the big ones, the Victor Osimhen's of this world. So with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
like, with what they want, the structure that they can work with. Again, I won't say limited, but like of course we can only go for certain players.
yeah.
So I mean, I would love Nico Williams if we can get Nico Williams. I think he is the player right now, which a lot
Do you
of
know
clubs are.
another thing, Jerry and Ty and SK? Do you think Maresca needs to adjust his team? Like, I mean, like in his staff members, do you think he needs to add somebody that's experienced in part of his coaching team, Ty and SK and Jerry?
Tyrone, you're back, so you can go ahead.
Ty,
TY, the blue corner. Tyrone. So in terms of, if I understand, not sure if Tyrone's still here. You mean like it's you're saying additional, or you want a
yeah,
change in stuff?
yeah.
Tyrone, you're here, so go ahead, please. Tyrone, are you there?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, they both just left right now.
So for me, I don't know. Like, I don't know if Enzo Maresca is the first season would need any change, because with all due respect, he's still, in my opinion, trying to integrate. It was his first season as a head coach in the Premier League. So I don't necessarily think a change is required this time. SK, what do you have to say?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think if you look at the evolution of the team throughout the season, obviously, like the first third of the season, first half, I guess, like they played like a more chaotic, more transitional type of game. And then you can kind of see that reflected in like the results. Like they scored more goals, they conceded more goals. Like there wasn't as much control. And then obviously you have like that middle portion of the season when like all the strikers were out and all the mostly attacking players were out and they were poor. And then I would say like post international break, they got better defensively. The games got slower, but obviously they weren't scoring as much goals either. So I think for Maresca, the challenge for next year needs to be keeping that defensive solidity that they've kind of gotten while still being able to platform the attackers. I don't know if you saw, I saw a tweet and I wish I saved it. And I think it was like Chelsea for like the first, I want to say, like the first like 18 games or something like that. They were like, I think they were like second in the table. And then like the last 10 games, they were like first or second in the table. And then it was like that middle 10, like portion of the season when they were really bad. They only got like 9 points out of like a possible 30. So basically like they started the season off well, they ended the season decently, and then like that middle portion was like completely terrible. So obviously that is where you want to get that more consistency like from that aspect.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, Tyrone, sir. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some connection issues. Anyways, trying to see if I could connect my reliable mic so that there's no background noise. Right. So, thank you for sharing this, Jerry. So I just wanted to quickly, because I think you guys diverted as a little improv, because I got knocked off. I want us to do a little comparison in terms of considering the chances created for Liam Delap overall in Ipswich Town's team and what we would have seen last season with Chelsea, or the season that just ended. So let me see. Okay, let me see. Things kind of acting up. Anyways, I'm gonna see if I can connect the mic. But anyways, so it says Davis there for Ipswich Town. He was the top chance creator with 61. So right, I got that right. And then of course Omari Hutchinson 31. So you see the massive drop off right there in itself. That's a massive drop off for sure. I really does show to you how much the chance created. He really wasn't really all over the pitch as much. Then you see Jack Clark, who's 28. Then you see Sam Morsi, probably butchered the name, 24. And of course, Liam Delap, 21. So, right, I got that right. So, 21 chances created. I'm going to see if I can share the Chelsea one that I had phone before I ended up losing connection. But I don't know what you guys think about that necessarily. What do you think about that per se?
The interesting thing is I looked up that guy's position, and so he's like actually there. So he's their fullback. So that tells me that Ipswich got most of their chance creation from like in transition when he's either overlapping or he has a lot of space to run into, and it actually tracks too because another interesting thing that FootMob does that I really like is you can like break down like a player's goals and like how they're scoring them, right? And like for Liam this season, right? So like out of the he scored like 10 goals in like open play, and then like 4 of those came at what football classified as like a fast break or like a counterattack. So it kind of tracks with that, looking at like who is that's a fullback. So I'd say it makes sense.
Are you guys able to hear me now?
Yeah, and we can see the
Yeah,
Chelsea stats.
yeah, we could
Yep.
see the stats,
Okay,
but
I don't know what happened.
I don't know if you were talking earlier because we didn't hear you earlier.
Oh no, 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 no. Oh, I didn't want. Okay, could you share the one that you had before, Jerry? I wanted to do the little comparison. 'Cause you can see the massive
Okay, I
difference
closed
here.
that. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, no
Also,
problem. But as you can
you know,
see, I think you guys remember, their top chance creator was, as you said, a fullback, and it was 61. As you can see, the massive increase there, which is 89, from Cole Palmer. So you can see we create a lot of chances.
and
Of
even Enzo
course,
Fernandez also has more than him as
yeah,
well.
exactly 79. But the interesting thing is that our third one got less, which is Pedro Neto, got less than what their highest chance creator got. So you can see how much of a difference it is between both. Uh, okay, you sharing it again. So let me just quickly go back here. Okay, I have to stop sharing this.
Also,
And then
sorry to interrupt. Yes, I have to go, guys. So
oh,
appreciate
no
you for
problem. We're gonna run off. We're gonna run off soon
yeah.
after
So
this.
appreciate y'all for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for coming on as well.
Thank you. Thank you, SK. It was lovely having a chat and discussing
Yeah,
the
yeah, it was good.
signing.
Yeah,
And
it was good talking to you guys too. I'll definitely try to join
absolutely. Have a good day or good evening where you are.
you as well too. Peace, peace.
Thank you. Cheers.
Right. So you're able to see that. So 61 for them is their highest one. Then 31. So Omar Hutchinson would have fit into. Let me see if I can do this. So Omar Hutchinson would have fit in to our fifth one. So the fifth highest one first was 32. And that was Noni Madeweke. The fourth one was Jaden Sanji, 38. Of course, you're seeing the one that Jerry's sharing. So could you scroll down a bit so you can see who else is there? So Liam Delap is 21. Let's see who. Right. So Mark Kukurea created 19 chances. So that's 2 less than Liam Delap. Malo Gusto created 1 more than Liam Delap with 22. Nicholas Jackson created 28. But if you look at this, you're able to see that this says 13, 18 there. So of course you're able to see that. What do you think about that, Jerry?
Yeah, if comparing apple to oranges, simple as that. And that's why it's important. And as you were mentioning, if we talk about stats, then the context is important, right? Not only that we understand is if this town they created less, but as SK said, as you alluded, sorry, before the impact of the goals coming from different areas. So that is interesting. That is why if we put everything of Delab on the paper and say, okay, this is the strength, this is the how he has done over 90 minutes in these areas, is goal scoring, his conversion, blah blah blah. It may not really translate what uh, he will probably get at Chelsea based on several factors. So that's why in the start, I think that what I was mentioning was less on stat, more on like what are his strengths as a player, his limitations as of yet, and bringing or sorry, considering the fact that he played for Ipswich. So I have no doubts that he will deliver at Chelsea. How successful he'll be, how much time will he take, I don't know. That's difficult to say, right? But I don't see him having a bad season. I think his first season will be successful. Will he be a world class player? Will he be one of the best that we had. That is too early to say, right? I have to see a little bit. But I think it's a great signing. I see him as our first choice. In terms of like, even if like Nico Jackson will get the opportunity, I think Delap will perform better, will score more goals. So in that context, I see Delap, the number one choice, the first choice. And again, going back to the structure, based on that, I think we couldn't have find any better striker.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what's going on. My laptop crashed completely. Was working perfectly fine now. But anyways, I think it's a good time to go now. But thank you. Thank you to everybody that tuned in, of course. I can't really see the comments now because this is gone. But GMC Garvan was here. Puggy, of course. Thank you once again for that donation through the membership gifted. I realized that it says Tobago CFC was gifted the membership, so I'm not sure if you'd be appreciative of it. I don't know. I don't know.
You know what? Just on a side note, like after 2 hours of serious analysis of from the whole panel, this Buggy, you know what? I was thinking if I had the channel, I would be getting a lot of donations from this Buggy. So big up Buggy, don't forget me. Big up Buggy, and thank you for your support. It means a lot for the channel, for the Chelsea sessions. Big up, Buggy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that will be the case. So his perspective said that I've never been lucky enough to receive a gift. That's what he had said. I'm assuming it was in response to that. Andrew Phillips was also here. And of course, thank goodness that Deals asked a question. And you guys, I didn't get to respond, but Andrew Phillips asked a question earlier about if that he thinks Enzo should prioritize the back line, and I believe you guys mentioned, especially Deals particularly mentioned about getting a right back, a left back. I think he mentioned as well. Of course, we're looking to sign some centre backs. Hey, left centre back, left back, versatile player. We see him being linked. But thank you to everybody that did tune in. Of course, Huddersfield Town Fan TV, Chizoma, David, of course. And the channel got some subscribers as well, so I know that they love the stream as well. So thank you not only to you, Jerry, but huge part to you because you held down the fort for me at different intervals. So I appreciate that. SKFC Deals, thank you to everybody that joined the panel. Thank you guys for tuning in as well. And this has been another edition of live discussion and the second stream on Chelsea Transfer News, with the topic, of course, being about Liam Delap officially being unveiled and announced by the Chelsea Football Club and also by the Chelsea media team as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I got my energy back. So sorry, I need a final word. Not even it's a word. Or can I?
I was about to say that. I was about to say if everything else to say before.
I know, but I couldn't wait because I have, like, for a few weeks, months, did not use this. But this signing gave me that energy, that belief. Tyrone, Chelsea fans, come on, you Blues!
Oh, yes. Wonderful. Perfect. Lovely. And there's a good way to end it as well. Come on, you Blues. And just so you have the last word, please say it again, just for solidifying it.
I need that energy again, but Delap, you have given me. Come on, you Blues!
Come on, you Blues.
And uplifting. Yeah, man, Stamford Bridge feeling irie tonight. Ooh. Big up to the Blues, we got a new striker in sight. From Ipswich Town to the Chelsea ground, Liam Delap's the name, goals abound. He came from the tractor boys, now he's wearing blue. Scored 12 last season, now he's coming through. Physical and fast, a real number 9. With Cole Palmer behind, it's gonna be fine. Delap, welcome to the crew. Making moves at the bridge, showing what you do. From Manchester roots to Chelsea's embrace. Time to shine, young lion set the pace. Enzo Maresca knows your game. Work together before, now it's not the same. Champions League nights await your fire. With the Blues faithful, you'll inspire. They say club or country, a choice to make. But with Chelsea's call, it's no mistake. Club World Cup dreams in the USA. With Delap leading, we'll find our way. Delap, wearing royal blue. Scoring goals, breaking through. From Ipswich days to Stamford's light. You're the future, our shining knight. So here's to Delap, our new number 9. In Chelsea